So, if you are a woman who is in transition and you have any limiting beliefs at all, we invite you to stay tuned because we have an interview with Cate Shaw today for you. And we're so glad to have you, Cate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for asking me. I'm absolutely thrilled. Great to be here.
Yes. So Cate Shaw, we met Cate through her own podcast that she has with a friend, and we were interviewed on that. Roz McMaster and Cate Shaw have a podcast called Ironing Out the Wrinkles. And we were excited to meet the both of you, and we were so enamored by both of you that we wanted to talk to you individually as well. So Cate, you are an actor and a singer. And
that's right, I am.
Yes, and so we want to hear all about that because you had a career that went on pause and then you started it up again, and we want to hear all about the whole story. It sounds fascinating and beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yes, well, I met the man. I was actually singing on a ship to go over to England, my dream, and met some people on the ship who told us about a place called Cornwall, where and my sister was on the ship too. So down we went, and never heard of it, never even thought of going there. And I spotted this lovely man who ended up being Australian, and I married him 10 months later. And he happened to be Australian.
Love.
48 years ago, I've gone like a blink. I'm just saying I can't get over how fast time goes.
Yeah.
And yeah, he happened to be Australian, even though I'd been away for 4 years overseas, because we Aussies do like to travel when we're young, especially, although we never stop, I don't think. We love the world and being so far away. And anyway, I always wanted to be a mum, so we eventually had our kids, moved up to Brisbane, away from Melbourne, which is quite a long way, and no family, no friends, and my husband's job demanded long hours. And so I had my children, and that was it. It was all encompassing. I couldn't possibly go back to my old life. And I loved being a mum anyway. So, and I just thought one day I'll go back to the old me, one day when don't know when that will be, but one day.
Yeah.
And so I really believe in a good education, and I wanted to send my children, I've got two, to really good schools. So that meant that I had to go and get a job, and I worked for doctors, and I was lucky enough to work for a cosmetic doctor, really high profile one, for 12 years, which was very interesting. Went into the operating theatre and saw what's underneath our skin, and we're all the same basically. I just loved all that.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't me. I've always been a very creative person. I did illustrate the kids' books when I was stuck at home because there was no childcare, no creches. So I did that before the children went to school, and then I went and got a job part-time. And so working for this doctor, and the years passed by, and you're just involved in being a mum and looking after everybody. And I got to the magic age of 50. Like, I just couldn't believe it. And my then boss told me, hey, hope you're doing everything you want to do, because most people, especially women, die in Australia at about 84, I think it was then.
Okay.
And that was like a slap in the face for me, because I realised it was now or never.
Yeah.
What a magical question. Something that I think we just don't ask ourselves. Are we doing what we dreamed of doing? Or, do we ever pinch ourselves and say, what's going on here? What do I really want? And so someone asked you that question. What happened? What was that like for you?
Well, it was quite confronting, really, because I just was I guess it's really easy to forget about yourself when you're a mum, and you're just so used to not thinking about you as much as everyone else. They just seem to be far more important. Well, that's how I felt anyway. And being without any extended family, we were like a little unit. So when he said that, I just said, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be here forever after all, and I better start pulling my socks up, because it's now or never. And I didn't want to go to the end of my life and say shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be a bitter and disappointing person when I was older either. It was no one else's fault if I didn't do what I had to do. So I spoke to my husband, and he said, I think you should listen to that. He's my best friend, I'm lucky.
Oh.
And my brother, who was a quite world famous composer, he died about a year and a half ago, sadly. But he was a very good friend of mine. We worked a lot together, and when we were younger. And he said, go to the conservatorium and bring them up and get a good singing teacher. So number one, get your voice back. That was a bit of a journey. I thought the teacher would laugh at me being 50, but no, she didn't, and made me go on those jazz jam nights because I love singing jazz. So off I went, and the more you do it, the more you just have to jump in. And I'm not a very good risk taker. I'm a bit of a controller. I like to feel safe. So it was quite hard.
I think that's very natural.
Yes.
Actually.
Some people are braver than me, but anyway, I screwed up my courage, and I found I absolutely loved it, and it just all came back. And when you're doing things you love, don't you think the universe helps you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
You put it out there with your positive energy, and yep.
Yep, it's absolutely a vibration, right? When you're buzzing, right? And you're alive, and your people just kind of they want to attach themselves. They were like, oh, what does she have? I want that, and they want to be around you.
Yeah, it was great. And my boss was very supportive too. He gave me time. I got some work at the ABC, just vocal work, singing through my brother, this wonderful place, the big headquarters in Sydney. So he gave me time off to do that.
Nice.
And then after I've been doing that for a while, singing all around Brisbane, jazz bars, corporate events, and met lots of great musicians, sang in Melbourne and Sydney, I decided also, hey, I wouldn't mind doing some commercials, and I wouldn't mind being an extra in some movies and TV. We've got a big, here in Queensland, we have the Warner Brothers movie world here, and there's a lot of films and stuff that are made here. So I found myself an agent and jumped in, and have been doing that too. But as I get older, I'm finding that I'm wondering if it's ageism, I don't know, but I've got to go and have a little chat to my agent and see, why there's not so many auditions. But I think Roz and I are trying to change that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our podcast it was her idea. She's amazing. She decided that when we're talking at coffee one day to do it, and she talked me into it because, again, I was a bit out of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And but we don't go live until the 24th of February. But we've been doing a backlog of all you guys, people like you, so that we make sure we've got plenty of people to listen to every week. But, yeah, ageing, I'm not going to listen to it because I think that you can do whatever you want to do no matter what the age, and it's never too late to start either. There's a few other dreams I've got to try and chase yet. While there's life, there's hope. Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Completely.
Because you hear it. Go
ahead. Well, I was gonna say, I love that you don't see yourself as a risk taker, but you took the leap. You took the leap and did something that I think a risk taker would do. So I'm wondering, maybe you are a little bit of a risk taker.
I don't know. I think
and how? I mean, so if you don't think you're that brave, but you did it anyway, how did you? What kind of help did you seek, or did you feel alone? And then how'd you bust through that limiting belief that you had? Because that's the secret sauce I think people are looking for. What was a nugget for you that you want to throw out to our audience about how you busted through that?
You tell the people that you care about the most what you really want to do. And then they will be a cheer squad if they really love and care about you. And I've had some good friends as well. And it was the old me coming back. And if you're a happier person and a happier partner and a happier friend and wife, you're nicer to be around. But it is, I think I just didn't want to go to my grave with regrets. And I would have been sad if I'd never got back to my music. And I would have been sad if I hadn't tried doing the movies and the commercials. If it didn't work out, well, so what? I would have been disappointed, but at least I gave it a go. Right. And there's a few other things. I mean, while there's life, there's hope for you to try whatever, And like this podcast, I can't believe I'm doing that now. And I'm absolutely loving it because I've got a good friend who pushed me. And yeah, she said, you just got to stop playing small. You're not serving anybody by playing small. You're not serving yourself. You're not living up to your potential. And Roz has got a psychology background, so she's pretty astute. Plus, I've had cancer in that time too. Since I've turned 50, a lot's happened.
Yeah.
I've had the breast cancer and only caught by absolute fluke, by a hunch from the radiographer when the lab said I was okay. So I'm very lucky to be here for that. That was pretty confronting. And then my mum died just as I finished my treatment. We were really close. And then I lost my brother about 1.5 years ago. So now I've got my skates on again.
Yeah.
I'm going to be hitting 70 this year, and I can't believe, how did that happen?
Yeah.
It's like yesterday that I got married. So I just say to everybody, I know there must be something deep inside that you really want to do. Doesn't matter what it is. It just can be setting up a garden. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but what makes your heart sing, and to give it a go, because you'll be proud of yourself and you don't want to go to old age with regrets. You just don't want to be bitter and disappointed, because it's a gift, life, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And you're keying into something that we often talk to our clients about, where we talk about our future self. And I always usually start with a story about wanting to make my future self happy, because we look in the past, and had we known what we know now, we all say that. Had I known what I know now, I would have. That's the sort of the saying. And you don't want to say that too often. You want to be able to say, I'm so glad I did that because now I have this. And that's what I'm hearing you say. You looked forward, you looked into the future, and you said, I want to be able to say this. I want to be able to feel this. And you acted on it. And so that's what we want our audience, what we want our clients to do, is think about your future self. What do you want to feel? What does that future self want to feel, and know that they're grateful for their past self for? So,
and I love what you said, Debbie. And then the next step, because what you said was, yes, there's the dream and the feeling that you want and the vision that you want. But then what, Cate, you've done is then you went and did something about it. It wasn't just a dream. You actually went and got lessons. You reconnected with your brother, and you saw it. You went after it with action. And I think so many of us might be sitting with the dream, but not taking the action. And again, there's that sweet spot to move forward. So you reached out for help. You told your loved ones and people who believed in you, I want to do this. And they rallied. So you weren't alone.
No, I couldn't have done it on my own. No way. Because I think you lose, well, for me, I lost a lot. Even though you raise 2 children in a new city, I think I'd lost my self-confidence. I did lose it. And it's easy to happen when you really, being a mum and raising kids, you should be the most confident person in the world, because it's not easy.
Right.
It's wonderful, but it's not easy. And I think also I would say, like, if people don't know what their dream is, look back to your childhood and think about what really made your heart sing when you were a child. For me, I was 7, I was singing with my brother. And I didn't want to lose it forever, because that's what I absolutely loved. And there must be, it's just a matter of sitting quietly and thinking about what makes my heart sing, and try and go for it. But you've got to get support and make a little plan of how you think you could do it. And sure, you might fail a few times. I mean, I was hopeless the first few times I got up and sang. I almost quit, but you've got to have a cheer squad. You've got to have some friends and support. Same as with the podcast, my friend Roz, she's the bravest person I know, having survived cancer 4 times, plus. So surround yourself with good people, I think, as well, is really important, who want the best for you.
Right.
Because it's easy to quit. Yeah.
It is. It's very easy to quit. And it's easy to get lost, like you said, especially if you're a mother or a caretaker or both, where you are giving, and you're nurturing whoever you are. You often lose a part of yourself because that's, you're giving away a part of yourself, and that's not wrong or bad in any way. But then the kids grow up, or the person you're caring for passes on, or is doing something else, and then you're left with, okay, I need to re-engage. I need to figure out who I am again, and I might be a little bit different now because I've had all these experiences. And so it's a renewing of who you are, and adding some new things to that person, because you aren't the same person that you were when you first had your kids. You've grown, you've become a different person. Even though you have the same passion, your experiences in life have made you a little bit different, and so you take that with you. Yeah,
I agree. That makes you wiser, and I think that's probably going to make you succeed more, because the best thing I've ever done in my life is have children. I'm really grateful I've had that experience. I loved every second of it. Even when I look back, some parts were terrible, as we all go through that.
Of course.
But tough times don't last, do they? Thank goodness. But yeah, I just think life's too short not to try and be your best self. And yeah, we've all got courage. You're stronger than you think you are, I think. Don't you reckon? It's just we don't believe in ourselves enough.
No, we don't. And I love too that what it sounds like you did was you practiced. You got up and you learned from those first couple of events that you hosted or that you were at, right? I mean, you were just like, oh, I need to get better at this, or oh, I need to feel I felt this way. And so it's something that we constantly invite our clients to do, is say, okay, this happened. It's data, right? We're always collecting data from our experiences, and shining a light on the data, and saying, what could I do better? What's just the 1% that I could do better? Not the 50,000 feet, but maybe just the foot. What's the 1% better that I could do? And so it really sounds like motherhood, I'm imagining, for you also created a bunch of resilience for yourself. I mean, you really, especially as it sounds like your husband was very busy, and so you had a lot of responsibility, and so that absolutely helped shape you to who you are today, and put it in kind of in the mix too. So
yeah, I think everyone has tough times, don't you think? And that's what life is. But I don't think it's tempting when you fail, but I don't think there's anything. Someone told me this, so it's not my words, and you've heard it probably a million times too. But you don't ever really fail. There's no such thing. You just learn. And it's kind of a gift to fail, because it makes you try harder and be better. Even though it sounds a bit corny, I think that's for me, that's been true.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like to me too that it's you were trying, you getting back into singing and getting back, trying commercials again, and I'm sure there were some instances where you were refused, or people said no to you, and a lot in any kind of arts. It's like that in many other areas too, but there's lots of no's, and it's that resilience and that compassion for yourself to go on despite that, and to know that, okay, they're saying no, but there's someone behind them that's going to say yes. I just have to get to that yes person. And it's a matter of that compassion, and not, we were talking about failure. We're going to fall down, but it's a matter of getting back up, just like the toddler falls down and doesn't say, okay, forget it, I can't walk, I'm never going to walk. The toddler falls down and gets up, and falls down and gets up, and falls down and gets up, thousands and thousands of times before they walk 10 feet. And we need to take that lesson, because that's what life is. And if we get discouraged every time we fall down, we're never going to get 10 feet ahead of us. We're going to stay down. Yeah. So, and look at what came out of your getting up, falling down and getting up over and over again. And you created the dream that you were looking for. You got to,
and you got to true. Have.
Yeah.
You can never give up. The thing is, COVID's been a bit of a shocker. A lot of, especially in the arts, there's been a lot of places have closed down, so there's not the opportunities anymore. So, and the world's changed a lot. So I've got to think I've got a few more things I want to try and do before I go. Well, there's life, there's hope for all of us, isn't there?
Yes.
But anyway.
Okay. Should we dare you to put that out into the universe here on this podcast, or do you want to keep those dreams under wraps right now? Totally up to you. No pressure.
I'll put it out to the universe, because if you don't try, you're never going to. I would like to sing on a soundtrack for a movie, as crazy as that sounds.
Yes.
That'd be so much fun. And I really hope that our podcast helps a lot of people. That's another thing. What else would I like to do? Oh, there's a whole lot of things, but that's the main one that I haven't done. That one there.
Yeah.
Go on.
We just appreciate your message about breaking the barriers with ageism. I think it's something that we women and men need to bond together in community and say, look, that media is not okay. We need to reframe our approach, our personal approach, and we need more examples like you out there that are just saying, I'm going to do it, and then they do it. So yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, there's a wonderful lady that we interview called Sharma Person. She's Scandinavian. My accent's probably terrible. Sorry, Sharma. But she's got an agency. She's 55, and last year she started up an agency called Golden Age Models. And it's all the people, are men and women, if you look at their website, are over 50. Beautiful and glorious, wrinkles and all, just fabulous. And one of them's on the Vogue in Scandinavia on the cover.
Nice.
So she's trying to change it. We're not all invisible, no matter what your age. And while there's life, there's energy.
That's exactly right. And we talk about age, and you just said you're going to be turning 70, and both Wendy and I are 53. And there's the idea of numbers attached to us, whatever they mean. You like you said, you feel like you just got married, and
I do.
I have kids in college. I feel like I just got out of college, so it's not this on the outside or the number that's attached to us. It's who we are. And so it's like, it's giving people a chance to get to know who they are and what they're capable of. And it's a lot more than what, society says about us. So
yeah, it's just lovely. I love what Mayu Angelou says. Age is nothing. Waking up is everything.
Yes. And Debbie, to riff on that, it's who we are and who we are becoming.
Right.
As well.
Right, exactly.
That's the other step. Like, who are we looking to become? And as we're looking to become that person, what would that person be doing? What kind of action would that person whom we want to become, what are they doing? And then practicing that.
Yeah.
And the practicing is the fun part.
Well, none of us are perfect. You think everyone's looking at you, but really they're looking at themselves. I wish I'd realised that when I was younger. Life is wonderful. We're lucky to be alive now, I think. There's awful things happening in the world everywhere, but there's also lots of great things too.
That's right. And that's why we need to count our blessings, because we're fortunate. And so take hold and grab what you can, because you can. So that's
even if you're 90, you can.
Of course.
That's right. We can start right now, today, moving towards that dream and taking action.
My dad's 93. He's still driving and very engaged.
There you go. That's right. And so when you look at it that way, we have so much time ahead of us. There's so many things that we can do,
Yeah.
So, yes.
What a treat to have this conversation with you and have our listeners get a little bit of, pick up my socks, as you said.
Yeah.
And
it's fun.
Yeah. And we would love to host you here in America, and we look forward to following your next steps. And we put really good vibes out there for you to get into being on a soundtrack. I can't wait to see your name in the liner.
I don't want stardom. I just want to experience it. I'm not after being a star. I think that's a poison chalice in lots of ways. But just to have the experience
Of course.
and
Yeah.
enjoy that. But I've loved being with you, and I love America. My son lived there for 4 years. I think it's an amazing place, and I love traveling. So hopefully I do get over there again. I've been there 4 times, so
Nice.
love to pop in and say hello.
Yes. Well, you're always welcome. Always welcome.
Oh, thank you, and likewise.
Do not hesitate to look us up or contact us, because we would
Come
love
and
to
have a
have
coffee.
you. Yeah, that's
That's
right.
Yeah.
And so
well,
Cate,
thank you for having me.
yeah, Cate, where can people find you and follow you?
Well, I've got a website. I don't do Facebook, but we've got the Ironing Out the Wrinkles Facebook page that Roz has started.
Mhm.
And I've got a website, kate.net.au, and a Kate with a C.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you. I've loved speaking with you, and I'm amazed that you wanted to speak to me. It's just lovely. Thank you so much.
You're such an inspiration to us. We wanted to talk to you because you're inspiring. It's just a really
Hope
great
so.
story. Yes.
Yeah. Our total pleasure.
Okay, well, take care, and I'll see you in America.
Yes, we hope
Or
so.
we'll come visit you someday.
And
Who
you come
knows?
and-
Yes,
Yeah,
that's one of my
love to.
dreams, so for sure.
Oh, come. It's a wonderful place here.
Now you say you're lonely. You cried the long night through. Well, you can cry me a river. Cry me a river. I cried a river over you. Now you say you're sorry for being so untrue. Well, you can cry me a river. Cry me a river. I cried a river over you.